And these new motions come after 2 days of a renewed search for clues here at 80 Mountain Spring Road in Farmington, a former Dulos property. On Thursday, John Schoenhorn, the attorney for Michelle Troconis, the ex-girlfriend of Fotis Dulos, filed 2 other motions in addition to a motion asking for the charges against her to be dismissed. He filed what's called a motion to compel. Essentially, he's accusing the state of withholding evidence he says is vital to form a defense for Troconis. Schoenhorn includes this photo of Kent Mawhinney being interrogated for 3 hours in August of 2020 by the state police at their polygraph unit in Meriden. Schoenhorn suggests that promises were made to Mawhinney in exchange for his cooperation, and then at one point Mawhinney says, quote, "I want out." Schoenhorn claims the state subsequently agreed to reduce Mawhinney's bond without a hearing.
The purpose is to show that the officers are all taking notes. Something is being promised here, and here are all these notes being taken, and I'm entitled to those notes. They're contemporaneous. They're taken as Mawhinney is talking to them, and they were holding that back.
Schoenhorn then filed a motion to get Michelle Troconis' GPS ankle device removed, citing that it's not waterproof and prevents her from going water skiing. It also can't fit over a boot, so it prevents her from attending her daughter's ski competitions. He's been fighting for this for a long time.
The longer that a person remains on a bracelet, the more it becomes punishment. The more it becomes an illegal search and seizure.
I also reached out to Lee Gold, the attorney for Kent Mawhinney, but have not heard back. Both Troconis and Mawhinney are charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Jennifer Dulos' body has never been found. Reporting in Farmington, Matt Caron, Fox 61 News.